Hi everyone, welcome to my channel once again, and my name is Prabodh, and today we'll talk about if function. So moving to the definition part, so let me open this, so we'll take it. So, so if logical function, so the if function nothing but it checks whether condition is met and returns one value if true and another value it is false. So syntax, if you look at if, takes three arguments. So one is logical test, one is value if true, and value if false. So arguments, by definition, a logical test means a value or logical expression that can be evaluated as a true or false. Value if true, the value to return when logical test evaluates to true. Value if false, the value to return when logical test evaluates to false. So this is the definition of if function. So we'll move around to the example part. So let me take to the example sets. So this is the first question. So we need to get a solution to that. If price greater than 500, then result should be high, else low. So this is my first if condition. We have to write, you press equal symbol, then starting with if. So if, by syntax, if you look at, it's a logical test, then it will return value if true or value if false. So the question is, if price greater than 500, I would like to return the result high or low. So let it selected the logical test, nothing but your price value. So if it's greater than 500, so then it has to be written high or low. Sorry, low. So if you look at that result, if you drag to end, so you'll get the outcome high or low. So taking into this function, so I'll help you understand what function is doing. If it's checking that price value, if it's greater than 500, then it's giving the result high or low. So in the first cases, it's meeting our condition, means the sale value is greater than 500, so that's the reason it is returning high. If you look at the other cell, means cell C6, so it's showing low. Why? So if B6 greater than 500, so here it's checking the condition whether it's greater than 500. No, it's not greater than 200, is not greater than 500, so that's the reason it is giving the value low. So if you evaluate this formula, press Alt T U F, or you can go to the formulas and you can go to evaluate formula. So what exactly behind the scene is happening? So if you look at, I'm evaluating, I'm seeing this if 200 greater than 500, so it says false. False means I'll give the second result I'm getting. So instead of high, I'll get low, because its statement is getting false here. So that's about the simple if condition. So moving to the if one example. So if actual amount greater than budgeted amount, then starters should be over budget, else within the budget. So next criteria, if actual is greater than budgeted, then I would like to subtract the budgeted amount from the actual amount. Otherwise, return nothing. So first question, under status column, I would like to get a result. If actual amount is greater than budgeted amount, then status should be over budget, else within budget. So starting with that equal symbol, if, then I'm selecting this actual amount. If greater than budgeted amount, then I need to get the result should be over budget. Over budget. else I have to return within the budget. So okay, so I am pressing enter. I'll getting that it's a over budget. I'm dragging this formula to down, shift down arrow and press Ctrl D, so it will copy down your formula. So only two amounts is getting over budget for me. So 19,989. So obviously is greater than that budgeted amount. So this is the how you can apply the if condition to get the result. So the next question, so probably I can take a pause here a little bit. So if you can think and you try yourself, so as an example, as an assignment, so you can have a try also. So I'll give a solution that the second question, try it with yourself now. If actual is greater than budgeted, then subtract the budgeted amount from the actual amount, otherwise return nothing. So you have to write a formula here. If actual is greater than budgeted, then you have to subtract the budgeted amount from the actual amount, otherwise return nothing. So start with formula. If this actual amount, nothing but the CLC9 I am referring, where the actual amount is there, so greater than budgeted amount, this is my logical test. So then if this actual amount greater than budgeted amount, then I want to subtract that budgeted amount from the actual amount. So I want to subtract this minus actual amount minus budgeted amount, else I need to return nothing, means I can put 0, then I'm closing the bracket, then enter. So I'm dragging to tilde. So this is the excess amount here for the over budget, 1673 and 3784. So this is the way, or some scenario will come in your real work time. So here manager can ask you, so go ahead, give the calculation, so you can think. So real business scenario you have to apply if you understand the if syntax, how it can be used. So in this scenario, if I am debugging this formula, so I am evaluating this formula. How to evaluate formula? You can go to the formula, then evaluate the formula. So here evaluate formula dialog box will come. The first syntax is if C9 greater than B9. C9 nothing but our actual amount, 19,989 greater than B9, 18,316. So if this condition matches, then it has to C9 minus B9, otherwise 0. So in this scenario, it's matching, means it is satisfying the condition. So my actual amount is really greater than that. So it has to look for C9 minus B9 only. So it is giving my result. So this is how the formula can be evaluated. So moving to next, if and end condition. So here one set of question is, so first you have to understand what is the end. End is a function, so the scenario when both the condition are true, at that time it will give the true statement, otherwise false. So if you write that end greater than 80, this is the logical one, and this greater than 60. So what do you mean by this? So it's yielding the false. So if you look at here, let me make it little bigger size. So if you look at here, it's yielding false. Why? So it's not matching any one of the criteria. So in this scenario, if I'll make as per the condition is greater than 80, so I'll making this 81. So my condition is getting true. So means here both the condition is matching. So D6 greater than 80 and C6 greater than 60. So it's giving the true result. So I think you understand about how the end works. So then moving to the example scenario, if both the score 1 and score 2 are greater than 60, then result will be pass, else will be fail. So starting with the formula equal to if, then end operator, then this score greater than 60 and this one also greater than 60, then I have to close these things. So I want, if this condition matches, then it is a pass, otherwise it's a fail. So I am getting pass here. So wherever I am getting the pass, so means here condition is getting satisfied. Both the score that student has secured more than 60. So that's the reason is pass. Fail, if you can see the second scenario here. If we can say you can score 1, he has gone not cross 60, more than 60, but score 2 is 60. So that's the reason it's a fail. So that is the how you can use the if and end condition. So this is the scenario how you can use the if and end condition. So means if you will debug this, you just select this entire things. What does that mean? So if you debug it, F9 key press, so selecting it, okay, so means it says very clear false. My if condition, if my logical test, if that condition satisfy, so then the value, if it's condition satisfying, it's a value if true and value if false. If the condition is not matching, then it's going to the second criteria which you've given, fail. So that's the reason it's going. So this is the how the formula works. If my condition getting satisfying, giving my true statement, else my false statement. That's it, all about the if and end. So this is the same scenario. So probably you can try at your own. So you can think how it can be done. So this is an assignment for you. You make your video pause here and you can go ahead and try yourself. So I'll give you the solution also. So you can try yourself. This is a question, means if a is greater than 12 and less than 20, then under 10, columns result will be yes or else no. So I'm working out if. So what you learn from the previous example, I'm applying here. If and then age greater than 12 and age less than 20, then my result should be yes or no. And that is all about, and I'm pressing enter, I'm getting. So selecting Control D, you will get the result. Only these are the, you can see these are the under matching the condition here, because they are under the criteria. If and L9 greater than 12 and less than 20, then yes, that's it. Rest is not meeting criteria, that's the reason you are getting the no. So probably you can get an understanding how the if works, if and end. So if means if this criteria match, and if end means your both the condition has to be true. So that's why it will return your true statement. That's it. So if you will debug, press F9. So what does it will give you? It will give you the false. So I'm pressing F9. 1 minute. So 1 minute. So it's a false. So that's the reason it's returning no. So that's all about if and end. and moving to the next if and or. So same way, if and or, while applying using the or condition along with if or means if any one condition satisfy, so give me the true statement, otherwise false. So any one condition satisfied, it will give the true statement for the or scenario. So starting with the formula if or, so any one score. So if a score greater than 60, so score 2 greater than 60, so means then it's a pass or it's a fail. So enter. So what do you mean by if and or? Means any one condition satisfy, it will yield the true statement. So here in the first scenario is both the condition is matching. So if you look at here, also is pass, means Rahul has scored 23 and score 1 and score 2, he scored 89 marks. So any one score he has done greater than 60, so that's the reason he is coming into the pass. So if I am making it say 32, then it will come fail. So that is the how the if and or works. If any one condition satisfied, it's a true statement, otherwise false. So that's it about if and or. So moving to the nested if. So here is the question. If the score is less than 60, the nested if formula written F, means if the score is less than 60, it has to be F grade. If it's between 60 to 70, it's a D. So if score is greater than or equal to 70 and less than 80, the formula has to return C. If the score is greater than or equal to 80 and less than 90, the formula return B, else it return as A. So starting with the nested if, you have to start equal if, so open parenthesis, and logical test will be nothing but my score value. So if first condition is less than 60, so I want to return F. Next condition, if it's less than 70, means it's between 60 to 70, so it will return T. If the score is, then again it's a 7 to 80, means I'll keep a cap on less than 80, so then it will be C. Then if next condition, means its score is greater than or equal to 80 or less than 90. So if score is less than 90, means it will come 80 to 90 bucket. So then probably I will return B. Again, otherwise I will return as a grade A. So it means if my first criteria is not matching, that if condition will shift to the next criteria, it will look for another condition. If score 1 is not less than 60, means it will stop there. If condition satisfies, if condition is not satisfying, in case of nested if, it will switch to the next if criteria which have written. So if that also not matching, it will go to the next criteria. If that is not matching, it's coming to the next criteria. If none of criteria is not matching, it will give the last criteria which you have put. So last criteria, nothing but the less than 90 if is not matching. So probably it will go and put the A. So pressing enter key now. So the error came, the reason I didn't close the parenthesis, accidentally I pressed the enter, so this formula automatically closed all the parentheses. So do remember how many ifs you will open, you have to close that parenthesis. Understood? Okay. So I am entering, so I am copying down this formula and pressing Ctrl D. So here if you look at, for the score 41 is a fail. So Second criteria, Rahul is A grade, Subodh is B grade, Aniruddha is C grade, like that only. So here multiple if we are using. So how will divide? I'm going to evaluate this formula. How does it works? So I'm going to the formula again. So I'm evaluating this formula to understand how this formula works. First criteria I'm evaluating. I'm getting is 41 less than 60. So that is true only. So it's stopping there my condition. It's giving straight away F. This first criteria. So I'm going to the next criteria. So how I'm evaluating? So either you can go formula and you can click on evaluate formula, then or shortcut key Alt T U F. So to evaluate the formula. So here you can check. So my first criteria is not matching. So it is giving the false. So it's moving to the next criteria. That also false. Moving to next criteria, 95 less than 80. That also not matching, false. Moving to the next criteria. That also false. If all this criteria is getting false, so obviously give me the A grade only. Means obviously this student is more than 90. That score probably. So you can click here. It's already A grade, so it's giving the A result. So if I am changing it, so 60 to 98, it will go A grade. So you understood this formula, I think. So this is the scenario when condition criteria will be given to you, and this nested if most of time used when you have to evaluate the bucketization of your data. Suppose you have a sets of number of days you got, and you have to break down into the bucketization. What is the 0 to 10 days, how many closed, and 0 to 20 days, 0 to 30, 11 to 20 days, and 21 to 30 days. So during the bucketization it helpful. So I think that's you may find this session very very useful, and if you find it's really great support, and you can subscribe my channel, and you can like me, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.